Hello, you're listening to the Receipts Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Gorlick, and as always, I'm with, he's the best, my producer.
Oh my God, I am the best actually. No, not always. You are the best, Jenny.
No.
You truly are. I feel like we need to constantly tell Jenny Gorlick that she is the best, and it is true.
Okay. That would be nice. I would appreciate it. Andrew's being very nice to me because I was actually I just broke up. We broke up. Jeffrey and I broke up on Sunday. I was going to say I was dumped, but it just doesn't feel like that's the language. Like that just doesn't feel like it's we broke up on Sunday, and I'm sad. I have to say I'm very sad. I'm like feeling I've looked up on the internet like what to do when you're broken up with, just a Google search to just be like, how do I deal with, like, I feel physically weak. And just
has anything helped?
Yeah, I mean, multiple sources say that being broken up with feels like when you go cold turkey after being addicted to heroin. It's like it's like being off of a drug physically to your body. That's like what's happening hormonally. And like I feel that actually. Like I feel I'll just kind of sob throughout my house, but also outside of my house too. Like I went to the post office wearing my mask and my sunglasses and just like cried in line at the post office.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Because no one can tell if you're wearing a mask and sunglasses. It's like it's very incognito, actually. Probably not the person who is sobbing at the same post office, actually.
It is. There is something very, very like therapeutic about crying like in public.
Yeah. If I'm alone for a second, I will cry. So like waiting for my Uber, I cried. Like just, anywhere in transit, I'm probably about to tear up. That's where I am right now. So
but I mean, you're getting it out, and that's important.
I'm getting it out. I know. Well, I've always loved crying publicly in New York City. That's one of the benefits of living in New York City is that it's the perfect place to cry no matter where you are. So,
Do you have a top crying spot for like the listeners to cry at?
Well, I think on the subway is always really dramatic and good because then people won't bother you. They'll definitely, if they notice, and they're like, wow, something is going on with her. She's very interesting.
What would you do if someone did notice and inquire?
I think I would just say, I think I would tell them the truth. It'd be like, I just broke up with my boyfriend and I am devastated, I think is what I would say. Just, you got to hit him with honesty.
Oh, absolutely.
You gotta.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad because it's just been hard for us in the past few months since we got back from Arizona. We've been having like kind of communication problems, mostly about I've been having a really hard year, as we all have, but I've been really feeling sad about the pursuit of my dreams right now and have been like looking for a lot of support that he just wasn't really able to give me. And like, I would feel bad because I already felt bad and then felt bad for feeling bad. And then he would feel bad because he knew that I wasn't doing okay. And it's just really hard and sad. And I feel like maybe like I'm in no way angry at all. I'm just kind of just devastated that it couldn't work out. Like I think he's an amazing, like really wonderful, kind, smart, handsome person. And I'm not. And it's just sad that we couldn't make it work. That's all.
You're not what? You're not all those great things? What are you saying?
I have those great things too.
Yeah.
And like we're two really great people and we just couldn't make it work. And that's sad.
Yeah. But I'm really because I didn't know what we would necessarily, what the vibe would be today.
Yeah, what is
I am
I don't know what the vibe is. It's like
no, but honestly, like, because I was a little bit like, not anxious, but like a little bit like hesitant because I was like, I don't know where she's going to be emotionally, but I am like very proud of where you are. Like the way that you're able to talk about it seems very, very healthy. You're able to reflect on the relationship and see where things were gone wrong,
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I'm still processing. So,
absolutely.
ask me
It'll be a
again
while.
next week and the week after and, for the rest of my life.
But
it's just really sad. And like he said this when we were breaking up, just that it's been a really hard year and that he's really thankful that we like spent it together. Cause I think it's really true.
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like we really needed each other.
Yeah.
And, I'm also very much mourning the loss of like his family who I'm obsessed with and I lived with. That's really hard because I love his parents. I love his brother and fiance and like I like want to keep them forever. So
yeah.
and they made me feel like so loved and accepted and like taken in too. So it's sad. That's another sad thing. And
right.
like, I am kind of just like, well, I think I'm going to be sad about this for a while, which is also what my dad said.
Which makes sense.
Very, very wise dad. He's like, his quote today on the phone was like, "You're going to feel sad about this now, but someday you won't feel sad about it."
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad.
I mean, you've gotten through breakups before. I remember you were the getting dumped expert on Unofficial Expert. I mean, like
I was, but those people were bad people I shouldn't have been dating. And that like this is Jeffrey.
I feel in time. I'm not necessarily saying that Jeffrey is a bad person.
I would not say that.
I would not. I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to suggest that in time you'll be saying something in the same vein where it's like, okay, this was just a bad fit,
Yeah.
and you won't be at the same place. You can't be in the same place forever,
No, I don't think I'll be in the same place forever. But I do think I've been dumped a lot by people who like were not necessarily kind to me. And I just need to say for the record that like Jeffrey was my best boyfriend by far. So just got to say it for the record, like let it show. But yeah, I was sad. We like, ultimately I do have the receipts. I kind of, what's wild is that he texted me in the morning. So I texted him first when I woke up. Hi. With multiple eyes, like very cute. Hi, I'm awake. And then he texted me morning. Okay. Can we go for a walk on Eastern Parkway, which is my street? And then I immediately FaceTimed him because I was like, what? Like, that feels so kind of out of character because we had been talking about potentially getting brunch or hanging out after. We were supposed to do a recording of receipts on Sunday, which was ultimately rescheduled for a good reason. But like we were supposed to hang out after that. And then getting the text, like, should we go on a walk? Immediately spiked all of my like, oh my God, I'm about to be dumped feelings.
Yeah.
So then I FaceTimed him just being like, what is something wrong? Like, what's going on? And he was like, no, I mean, I'm going to get a coffee and I'll see you soon. I was like, okay. So I get into bed with my sister and I'm like, Alice, I think I'm about to be dumped. And she's like, okay. Well, and I'm like, Alice, what do I wear? And Alice is like, dress hot. Which I didn't do. I just like I made sure to put on a pant with a button so that I wasn't dumped in sweatpants. But like I had just woken up. So
right.
I didn't have a coffee. He tells me that he's there waiting. So I walk out and he's like right on my block and has a coffee. Didn't offer me one, which is sad. Also a clue. And then we were going to walk, but then ended up just kind of like stopping and talking really only for 6 minutes. I didn't want to ask any follow-up questions. And we just like both cried. We just both cried right in front of my apartment.
Yeah.
Which was actually, I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen him cry. So
yeah.
That was kind of meaningful to me. I think men should cry more.
Oh, absolutely. I cry all the time.
You know?
Yeah. But I don't, yeah, that he's a great guy. You're right.
Right?
To do all yes, I respect that.
Yeah. And I mean, I told him, I was
Not
like,
the coffee part, but
because we've been dating for a year and we lived together, and like, how do you end that? Like, I'm happy that it was in person. And then I got to decide like how long I wanted to stay, which was like not that long. I wanted to go back inside and like crawl back into bed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did it. I mean, like, you didn't have to go wherever to his place, you know?
No, he just came right to me.
Yeah.
Gave me the bad news. And then I went into bed and cried. And then my friend Ava, we went and got Bloody Marys and sat in Prospect Park and just did that for most of the day.
I feel like the most important thing is that you have your sister, you have Bloody Marys, you know? You have sources.
My friends have been amazing. I'm really thankful for how incredible my friends are and like how everyone is kind of like, I'm here for you. It's like the troops are assembling, which is really nice.
Which is a really great thing to have. Not many people can say that, but you can say that because you're an awesome person and everyone wants to be around you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's been nice. And like, I'm making plans for every single day because I think if I sit at home,
yes,
I will die. I'll die.
Oh my God. Like, literally,
I will combust. I will turn into dust. Like I have to be with people.
You like need to like teach a class, honestly. No one knows how to take care of themselves. I can't take care of myself when something traumatic like that happens. You like need to teach a course because people spiral.
I'm not an expert because like I am like I'm very close to just sobbing at any moment again, but like and I haven't really been eating. I haven't wanted to eat, and I like that's not great right now, but I do know that I need to be around friends. I do know that. So I've been doing that. I'm just like making so many plans. I'm not staying like I'm going out. I'm not staying in my house all day. Like, and you know, I bought myself flowers and then and that's it. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'm seeing my therapist twice this week. I saw her on Monday. I emailed her immediately and I was like, I need to see you tomorrow. What is the earliest? And I saw her 8:30 a.m. on Monday, and then I'm seeing her again tomorrow. So my hero.
That's great. You're doing all the things to take care of yourself.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
Okay. It's really sad. That's it. It's my week. I'm devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't imagine with everything else going on. I am doing fine. Adele's album is coming out soon.
Adele's album.
Which I mean to tie in with being sad. So I feel like at least you have like a little bit of a soundtrack coming up.
That's really good timing, actually. I'm really excited that it's coming out just in time for my sad moment. I've been listening to Selena Gomez's album Rare about her breakup with Justin Bieber. And I've been listening
from last year, right? Yeah.
And I've been listening to Taylor Swift. So
okay, beautiful.
Sorry to just be a little white girl, but
we'll add one more white woman in with Adele on October 30th, which is the rumored release date. Yeah.
Cannot wait.
Oh my God.
And honestly, something else I cannot wait for. So excited. She's a dream come true, a good friend, the perfect person to be here in my time of need, and also an extremely talented comedian and actress. And she's so fun and frisky on Love Life on HBO Max with Anna Kendrick. So you must get very excited for the amazing Taylor Ortega.
Hi.
I'm gonna actually phrase like this. Hello.
Hello on this somber day.
Yeah.
Actually, while you were talking, I remembered how nice it felt the last time I got dumped when everyone like reached out to me, like friends, but also like friends that I was like halfway or like starting to be close with reached out, and that was really, really nice. And because it feels weird sometimes to be like, I like you and I want to hang out with you as friends. So like girls who would hear about it and be like, hi, just like want to say sorry. I also posted about it in a Facebook group. So if you want to hear up for that.
Yeah, just post it in a Facebook group and then watch watch a whole new crew of people to love me come through. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what happened. I was really surprised.
That sounds really good, honestly. But I don't know. I've been feeling weird about posting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Although I am recording a podcast that has a video component right now. So
you're kind of posting. We kind of saved it for like a nice moment. You could fully.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are.
I don't know that there are. I always feel like when someone else gets dumped, it feels very clear to me. And I like also what you said, Andrew, about like you can change your mind later how you feel about this person, or when you remember things that you're like, well, that wasn't a good fit and I'm glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. Because right away you never think of that. You're just like, they were the best person I ever knew. And like, that's what I see. And yeah, and then like time goes on and you're like, I feel it. Your dad is kind of right.
My dad is wise. My dad is an accountant and very wise. The other thing he said to me is, realistically, Jenny, you probably want to have 1 to 2 more long-term relationships that are serious before you get married. So this is probably good timing.
Really good mathematical advice.
Wow.
Fully an accountant. So
it also sounds very Sex in the City. Like Charlotte would be like, you have to have 1 to 2 more or you can be ready to get married.
Yeah. He's a Charlotte, actually.
He sounds like a Charlotte, but also a little bit Miranda.
He's a little bit of Miranda. He's a little bit of Charlotte. He's a lot the guy that Charlotte married. He's a lot that guy.
He's one of the best guys on the whole show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a lot that sweet man. That sweet Jewish man. That's my dad.
I love that.
Yeah, he's been really great. And so is my therapist. And, you know, so is Google searches.
I love when you Googled it.
You gotta Google it. You gotta just
like your energy, very like it's a project.
Yes, absolutely. Like who thinks of that? Like no one. I don't know anybody that would like Google how to deal with a breakup because like everyone just
there's a wiki now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just was like, what do I do? What am I feeling right now? Someone tell me what I'm feeling right now. And then the internet said heroin withdrawal. So
it feels like that.
Yeah, that's what the internet says. It says a breakup can feel like withdrawal from an addiction to a drug. Yeah. You're just like missing. I'm just like, because I wake up and I want to text him immediately. Like all throughout the day, I want to text him. I also am like craving being held so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like we need to make it acceptable to have like, I feel like the reason sometimes that happens is because we wait to get into relationships to like have that level of intimacy with people. Like I don't really hug my friends. I'm like very to myself. So the person I'm dating is like all of the physical touch I'm getting and like a lot of that affection that would be a weird gray area for you and your friends. And I'm not saying I want my friends to spoon me, but I feel like when it comes to like dating and hooking up, it would be nice if we normalize being affectionate and romantic with people that we're not committed to, because that would just be nice I always just thought that would be nice to have, but it always feels weird to ask for.
No, I agree. I mean, it would be like, I'm going to be in my friend Ava's, Bloody Mary Ava's pod. Like I asked her if I can be in her pod so that I can so Alice and I can hang out with her and her boyfriend without masks inside, because the only person I was doing that with is Jeffrey and his roommates.
Right.
And I just can't imagine, especially as it starts to get colder, like not having any other contact that I can see inside. Yeah. So I'm getting another COVID test just to be careful, but I don't think I have it or I'm contagious right now, but just to like say for a fact. And then like Ava's going to come have a sleepover with me.
I think that's
I-
great.
Yeah, I just need to be spooned.
You do. You really do. We all do.
Wow.
I do.
And I think that's how like this, like also you quarantine with this person, like, and you weren't anticipating that. I wasn't anticipating, none of us were. It's really, really hard to do. Like I've never thought I would have a relationship where I spent this much time with the person I'm in a relationship with.
Yeah. So how is everything going with Nikki? Like what's going on?
It's really good now, but we've had a really hard time through some of this year because I think also with the nature of like the work we all do, I'm used to being kind of just on my own for maybe a third of the year or a quarter of the year. And I didn't realize how much I appreciated that time apart and just of how busy everyone is for the past, like most of the past decade, we've all just been like running around doing our own things. And I think like all of the sudden very quickly, we were in the same apartment. We have a roommate, we have like a nice apartment, but we have a roommate, we share a room. It was a lot to be with each other all the time.
And were you both like working just at home? Like,
no, we both had jobs that just cut off abruptly when we went into quarantine. And so we were both here all the time and we were doing work that filled our days, but we both had really, really, really different expectations for how much time we should be spending together.
That's really hard.
It's hard. And there was times where like she went to go stay at her parents because it just wasn't really healthy for us to be in the same space. It just got to that point.
Yeah, well, marriages have been ending because when spouses don't have to go to their jobs, they're like, wait, this is too much time that we're spending together.
Yeah.
Like, actually, I didn't marry you to spend 12 hours of awake time with you.
I think our generation spends the most time of any generation so far with their significant others. Like we have the same friends and, you know, like at the same time, I feel like that was the limit.
Right. I mean, the pandemic timeline is very different than like.
Yeah. It's changed my mind like going forward about anticipating things like that and having conversations about, you know, making sure we both have other people in our lives and aren't putting too much stock on each other because that's very common and that's what everyone's expected to do. But it's also a very crazy way to actually, in practice, treat each other and live your life.
Yeah.
You know,
like it's healthy to, and this is a thing my very smart therapist says to me, but like it's healthy to have sources of support from multiple people in your life to not just depend on one person. Yeah. Although like as adults, you often end up making your like primary source of support and your most like attached person be your partner versus like when you're a baby, it's your parent. But she also said this to me, and this is a really nice thing to know. If you're a baby and you don't have that kind of secure attachment like to a parental figure, you probably won't survive. But as an adult, if you don't have like a secure attachment to someone, you'll still live. So that's good.
Well, because we have television. Thank you. We
Thank
have
God.
many episodes of many old sitcoms. And that's just as good as hanging out with people. And everyone will tell me I'm wrong. But to me, it's the same thing.
Right. I have Schmidt, Nick, and Winston. So I'm fine.
I will watch that show until I die. Like,
Same. I'm just binging it. And I'm now more than ever, it's really hidden different.
I used to love that show because it aired probably like I was watching those episodes from my early 20s, like into my mid 20s. And I used to feel I was always getting into relationships that like I was so worried about if they liked me that I didn't really stop and think if it worked for me. And every time one of them would have a break on the show, it felt like I was living through them. I was like, I want to break up with my boyfriend someday.
That's so silly. Like,
I was like the freedom. My friend in my giant loft.
I know their loft is so big. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but I love it. I do prefer it that way.
I agree. I think that's what we actually all needed during this pandemic time.
Yes,
for sure. We all needed it. So when did you and Nikki start dating?
We started dating a little over 2.5 years ago.
Mhm.
And we met through like UCB and stuff, but we actually started hanging out because I got dumped. And it wasn't the worst dumping, but it also was really not handled well at all. And I was very confused when it happened. And I had a good support system of friends, but I was in a weird transition phase where I didn't have like a ton of female friends, which is weird for me.
Mhm.
And so I was in this Facebook group of like mostly women in comedy, like one of those groups.
Mhm.
And I posted in it. It was like private, so I felt like relatively safe. I was like, only like 200 people will see this. And I was like, hey, sorry if it's weird that I'm posting this, because if some of you know who I was dating, I don't want to make you feel weird, but I feel really confused and I feel kind of blindsided, and I got dumped and I just want to like lay it out. And all of the comments were really nice and supportive, and I believed every single one of them, every single nice thing all of these girls that I didn't know that well were saying, which I also think means that as women, we're walking around a lot of times like really wanting to compliment each other and not do it. And like,
I know. I admire and am inspired by so many women all the fucking time, and I don't tell them enough.
I never tell them.
I don't tell them enough.
And it's so sad, but it also would feel weird to do. It's just not in our personalities to do it. And one of the people who texted me was Nikki.
Oh,
She was like, hey, she lived up near me, and her and some other girls on her sketch team were like, hey, if you want to hang out. But I was too sad. I just felt bad. Like, also, whether I was like, you're sad about the relationship, whatever, you're just like, I just feel bad. I mean, part of it is just processing feeling rejected, because of your brain that's like, but I'm amazing. I'm like,
yeah, well, the part of your brain that is like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, what could I have done differently? That part is
but like nothing. It's the same part of your brain that's like, I'm the best and everyone should love me. That is true, and like just doesn't fit with the puzzle piece of like, but it's another whole human being.
right.
Like their own problems, and you just don't know everything about them and how they handle things.
Yeah.
And it just makes you very sad. And you want to ask questions, but you also know you're not going to get the answers you want, or maybe even any answers.
Right. I know. It's just like, yeah, I 100% feel that. I'm like, I don't know if like there's anything, like, I don't know if anything would be cleared up by asking more questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I can't answer why I can't be there for a person anymore. And it feels really bad. And it happens much more. I get dumped more than I dump. But
same. I've never dumped a person.
Yeah. But I also feel like there were a lot of times where I learned that lesson of like, there are times where I haven't wanted to be with a person, and I've continued to date them. And I remember that making me think, I think I would prefer someone. It's made me be a little more understanding of people dumping me, because I'm like, well, I definitely don't want you to be with me if you don't know how to, or it doesn't make you comfortable, or it's not what you expected.
Right. We all should be with people who make us feel like very cherished and like loved, and like, like they're thrilled to be with you. Like,
and the more I date and the more relationships I have, the closer I always get each time to someone who gets me, which is something no one ever brings up, but my dad used to say it. Like, if a relationship didn't work out, my dad, he doesn't say these things to my face, but he would say to my mom, like, oh, he didn't get her though, but he didn't get her. And I think also if you ever feel like a complicated woman, which is such a actually relatable thing that a lot of us probably feel like, because the acceptable margin of womanhood is so narrow. I think
much emotion I have.
Consider yourself a complicated woman, which most women probably do, because I think there's a really narrow margin of like what is acceptable, especially like being straight, I think, and like trying to appeal. The like balance is so way off for straight women and straight men. And I think getting closer and closer to someone who really understands you and like likes the things about you that are special and different from other people feels really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And care about yourself more. And Not that that's the way to do it. I'm just saying anywhere you can get self-love from is good.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, I agree with your dad. I just got to say, you agree with my dad. I agree with your dad.
We're good dads.
Smart dads.
And that's something we can, that's a nice thing to depend on is it's nice to have a good dad.
It's nice to have a really smart, good dad.
Yeah.
So you didn't hang out with Nikki's sketch team because you were sad.
I was sad. Also, she was on the sketch team with my ex-boyfriend. So I really had a weird, like, I already had like a weird opinion of her. I thought she was like a bitch for some stupid reason. And then when she reached out to me, I was like, oh, I was so wrong about her. And my friend was like, well, so just start over. And we started hanging out just like women who lived up in our neighborhood who were all in comedy and had like all different, you know, and it ended up being really, really fun. But then also we started dating, which was really unexpected, but great. And now it's been 2.5 years. And the nice thing is going through this pandemic, there was definitely a point that I always get to in relationships where whether I'm the person who ends it or the other person is, I'm like, well, I'm only looking out for myself now. Like I'm just at a point where I care about myself and that's what I'm putting first. And this has been the first relationship where I've gotten like past that point of feeling friction with the other person or feeling distance from the other person and like getting around to the other side of it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, which I didn't think I could do, but it turns out you can do that. You have to like keep, you know, trying.
Yeah. Trying, pushing through, investing more in the other person, being like, we gotta make it work.
Which used to bother me when people wouldn't do that for me. I'm like, you didn't even want to talk to me. Like, you didn't even give me the chance to make it work. But there are also a lot of times where I'd be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired.
Yeah. I'm over this. Time to go.
I'm like busy. I have stuff going on if you can't understand. Like, so I've been guilty of getting lazy and just giving up and having the excuse of like, I'm 24. Like,
right. It's definitely, I think, something that the older you get, you're more willing to do. Maybe.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, what? Also, we really are not taught when it comes to dating to like, we're definitely taught a lot of like fear responses in terms of self-preservation instead of being like, what if I tried to understand maybe where this is coming from? But we're very defensive about dating and I don't have the answer. I just think that that's sad and hard.
Totally. Yeah, it's because it's really vulnerable to be like, wait, I might need to acknowledge that there's something that I'm doing that I could change and it would be better for both of us, you know.
Yeah.
Not that you should be changing your whole personality or any of that, but like there are better ways to communicate or look out for someone else.
Or thinking like maybe I thought I was doing a really good job and actually I have tendencies I didn't even realize I had to like shut off or be distant. So, yeah. It's never easy. It's always harder to be in a relationship than to not be in one, but I think the payoff is really nice.
I don't know if
nice.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, I'm feeling it's pretty hard to be single 3 days in. But
3 days in is not an easy time to be single.
It's not good to be single.
It's not. But there's a lot of alone time that I do feel guilty taking always in a relationship and space. I feel a little bit like I can't take up because you do definitely have to always consider, oh, there's another person and they have expectations of how this will go.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
So crazy being like,
crazy.
God, I'm not an island.
Yeah.
I don't have to be an island.
Yeah.
So crazy.
But I think we can expect some of that stuff of like the other people around us. I think we can like, because I do have friends who are single all the time. And I'm sure I'm serving some role in their life that is like.
Yeah, necessary.
Supporting them. So.
Yeah. That they wouldn't be able to do alone. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm like. It's amazing. I'm like, I can't believe, like, I talked to my friend McKenna, you know, McKenna, before bed last night. And she's like, you know, I'm going to be in Hawaii for 3 months. Like, why don't you just come to Hawaii? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, McKenna's like, I want to eat, pray, love you.
And it is so, I mean, I remember I had a relationship I was over and I went to China and I would never have gone to China if I wasn't like very much couldn't be in this relationship anymore. Like that is the moment to go do those things and like build on those other relationships. Granted, I did not break up with this person before I went to China. I went to China in the middle of our relationship and just disappeared. But I don't do that now because I've evolved.
Okay. We've grown, we've learned.
We've grown, we've learned. Would not do
Yeah.
that.
We've eat, pray, lived.
We've eat, pray, live.
I'm doing it just to bother you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's it. I mean, that's really nice that Nikki was a friend first. That's
Yeah,
really
she was very kind and like supportive, and I realized I had misjudged her. And she is a very sweet person, it turns out.
wow.
Honestly, I think the reason I thought she was a bitch is because I heard about a secret group chat where she had dissed my mod show, and now I could not care less about that. Like, who cares? I was just like, I'm nice to that bitch. She's such a bitch. I was like very mad. I was like, I'm so nice to her.
UCB drama. Oh my god.
It was UCB drama, which is actually incredibly embarrassing. So
yeah, it's just nothing's worth a UCB drama.
a place that doesn't exist anymore, maybe.
It ultimately is dead. R.I.P.
I'm watching that I definitely quit after 4 shows because I was like, oh, this is a lot.
Sketch comedy? Who knows?
Too much work. I'm not paying for props. No.
No. Someone should pay for your props.
They should. It's crazy. Those mod kids spend a lot of money on props.
Wow. I mean, I also have more wigs and props than I need that I've just purchased, and I don't know why I did that. Like, I was just hopeful that there would maybe be something to do for Halloween this year, so I got a cat suit.
Good to have. I'll say good to have. Colin.
Yeah. You gotta post up at the very least.
Yeah.
My cat suit?
Yeah. Even if you just
animal
go to your
lover.
apartment.
I
Post up.
would animal lover. Look at me. I'm sad and I'm an animal lover.
Wow, I didn't notice that before.
That's my caption. So you brought some receipts.
I did. I brought some old receipts.
I love an old receipt.
Mm-hmm.
I love a vintage receipt.
A vintage receipt. These are hard to look at. So I mentioned that I started dating Nikki after someone on her sketch team dumped me. So I've been dating people within the same sketch team for the past 4 years. So
wait, more than 2 people?
No, just 2 of them, but I think that's still pretty heinous. Like, I think we can still roast me for that. I think 2 is still bad.
2 is a lot for one sketch team for sure.
For any sketch. I think if you get to date 1 sketch comic, I think 2 is you're doing this to yourself. And I think 2 on the same team is do you only go out 1 night a year? Like, why did this happen? So I went back to 2016 days.
Oh my God. I'm just like imagining like trolling at UCB Chelsea, just being like, well, I'll find my next boyfriend at this sketch team.
The worst idea. I mean, it worked out for me, but now I'm gay. So the rules are very different. And now I'm gay.
Now I'm gay. Yep.
Now I'm gay. The rules are different. And also I kind of feel like I was always someone who was like, oh, I would never date somebody else who does comedy. I would never. And then it just happened repeatedly. And I think that's a pitfall that we all are guilty of.
They'll get you. They'll absolutely get you. And now that I'm
watching your back.
Yeah, you have to be so careful to make sure that you don't do it. I went on Hinge for 1 minute yesterday, for 1 minute, just to see what was out there, and then felt like I wanted to vomit. I literally felt like I wanted to vomit. I was like, I'm going to be sick. So I mean, that's
open though. Like dating apps are fun to swipe through, but after 2 days, fresh.
No, it was horrible. It was a bad idea. I was like, I'm going to puke. I just was like, wait, what is even out there? And then, there was the first person on my feed. I was like, who is this? And it was like, it was an actor. And I was like, no,
maybe no.
No.
I think no. Yeah. And you know what? We will be out in public with each other again. There will be like gatherings again. Yeah. And I always find the best way to meet people most of the time is just like people that are around, like just around you in a way where you don't consider, and you're able to like vouch for them socially, and like, you know, they're good people because they have mutual friends, and it just kind of like is an organic thing you feel stressed about. And sometimes even they're psychos. So
yeah, even with a mutual, sometimes they're a psycho.
Yeah, my friends don't have amazing judgment, so even then.
Their one good spot of judgment is that they picked you as a friend.
That's so true. Also, friend judgment and dating judgment are like have to be like so far different parts of my brain. Like
they're not associated at all. They have nothing to do with each other. You can have incredible taste in friends and the worst taste ever in people that you would like to have sex with.
Yeah. It's yeah.
It just works out. I don't know what the science is, but it's just like it's apples and oranges, baby. It's not even fruit. Actually, it's like apples and like tires.
Yeah, it's apples and tires. It's all apples and tires, baby.
You know, baby.
But yeah, okay. There was a period of time where I would say 2016 is the closest to like dating that I've done.
Okay.
Ever.
Good year to be dating. It wasn't a pandemic.
Mm-hmm. But also another emotional year. It was the beginning of all this. So
right. It was.
We were feeling very safe. We were feeling very secure. We were feeling like we could not be beat. And we were wrong.
We were wrong, and we were vulnerable, and we were looking for someone to hold us.
I will say I do believe that that election day did decide my relationship that I ended up in 2016. I do think that election day, like we hung out on election day. This was my ex-boyfriend. We hung out on election day, and we weren't going to. We were like, but I think we were just like, I need to be near a person, and like you don't need to talk to me, but I feel so now we're used to feeling like vaguely just vague terror a lot,
right?
A lot more,
just anxiety all the time. But we definitely needed someone to be with on election night 2016.
Yeah, he was actually like, "Don't come to my house," and I was like, "I'm here." So it's not really up to you.
You're like, "Oops, we're watching together." And then did you stay up until 3 a.m. to see Donald give his freaking speech? Or
I did not. I waited and I saw the results on Google. Also because I had been out that night at a comedy theater that I won't specify. And I was watching the results come in, and everyone kind of was like getting bummed out together and leaving. And there was a weird guy there who was not at all in the community, who like kept bothering me. And I was like, I was like nice, but then I was like, I really need you to stop talking to me. I've said no 3 times really politely now, and this is your hard no. And he called me the C word, baby. And then well, he did it in a way where it was very like under his breath as he was walking past my seat, my bar stool. And so I don't think he expected me to like turn around and follow him out of the theater into the street, which is what I did. And then I didn't do anything to him, but he got really scared. And I think he also didn't realize 4511. And so I like stood up, and he was like, "Oh my God," you know? And so then his friends would come out into the street and like beg with me to spare him. And that was kind of a nice feeling.
Yeah. I love that you have that power and you did that. But also can't believe that happened on the worst night. It was already the worst night before the election results came in for you.
It was bad. It was bad. I just left. I was like, this is a very bad vibe.
Yeah. Showed up at your ex's and was like, soon, not even dating yet. And we're like,
not even dating yet, was just like, you're the closest thing I have. But also that's what I'm talking about. I feel like it's so weird to like, men have this thing of like, I don't want to give women the wrong idea that I like them if I'm just having sex with them. And I'm like, that's crazy. You're wrong. You're something happened to you that you need to process, because it's okay. I don't want to have your babies. I would prefer not to.
Yeah, actually,
I'm not itching to be responsible for you.
Actually, don't worry. I'm absolutely on birth control for this reason. I'm not having your baby, buddy.
Yeah, I think once you get into your 20s, like we're not 15 anymore, and I'm definitely like not going to get too attached to you. Like, what do you have to offer that I'm getting too attached to? I think men need to start asking themselves that question, particularly in straight relationships. because the imbalance is so crazy.
Mhm.
What do you think I'm gold digging here? What do you think it is that I'm clinging to here that you have to offer? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what
You
you're
have
saying.
you have the most laundry, but do you have any?
Yeah. Like, really, what do you think I'm getting out of
Like,
this?
what do you? I need you to make an itemized list of the things that you think I can't live without that you've been in the world.
Put in an Excel spreadsheet, and then we'll talk about whether I'm actually attached to you or not yet.
But there were so many times where I would like just accept that at face value and be like, he's right. I'm lucky to be here. So many people, so many times. And that's how these receipts happened. Because when I think back on some of these situations, I'm like, I think, oh, that guy was crazy. But when I looked at my text messages to him, I was so accommodating. And I maybe enabled some of the behavior, the crazy behavior.
I do that too.
Happened. Even at the time, I'll be like, this is nuts. He can't do this. But I'll be like, LOL, sounds good.
Yeah, like, no problem. You're like, actually, I have a huge problem, but
I revise it in my mind. So do I just, I'm just going to read these off.
Read it. Read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was a scenario where I was working in this startup place, and we had a video people, and they would do all these videos, and sometimes they would bring producers in from the outside. So this guy was in my office for the week doing this video, and my office also had like a beer it was very startup-y, so there was like alcohol and stuff, happy hours, and he was there, and we met, and he had like a mutual friend in the office, so he seemed like he's like comedy adjacent, whatever, and he asked me out, and I go out with him.
Okay.
I think a couple times, but I remember we only hooked up like once, and I went to his house one time. And I already will admit that I went out with him more times than I was interested in, which I don't think is responsible. And it's like, no one enjoys it. Why are you doing that? And I came into work. He was only supposed to be there for a short period of time, so I didn't think I was like making a bad decision. But I was at work doing my job. I guess he was there. I didn't know that he was there. And this is after I had already stayed at his place one time. And he said, he texted me and said, I have a very important secret package for you. And then I made like a joke that it seems like it might've been an inside joke because I didn't think he was serious. And he said, I still have a dope, exciting package though. Should I hide it behind a toilet like in The Godfather? And I still didn't think he was like being serious. So I made another joke. I was like, yeah, put it in a trash can, whatever. Then he said, so the setup of this office was like really douchey. There were like these English telephone booths that like no one used for anything. No surprise, we ended up all getting fired, like Succession style, like that scene where they're just like, pack up your things and go. Like that happened months later. I just threw my glass off. Months later, because they had no money because they spent it on telephone booths. Right. So he said, telephone booth by the ladies' room, be cool. But for real, I left something in the phone booth. And I was like, wait, really? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, I'll check it out. And I said, that's an empty phone booth. And he said, you think I just leave it in plain sight? And at this point, I was already like a little pissed because like no one uses them. So now people in my office have seen him go into the phone booth and jerry-rig something. And then they've seen me a couple hours later go into the same phone booth, like searching. Clearly it's him giving me something. Like at this point, like, and I really don't like that. It's personal. Being made public makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. And no one touches those phone booths. Everyone's like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And it's like in the middle of the whole office. So everyone can see what I'm doing. Like I was pissed at this point. I don't really like cutesy stuff. I just was not having it. So he had taped an envelope under the seat of the phone booth. And I guess I had left a necklace at his house that was probably $7 from Forever 21, like flushed down the toilet, and with a note. And I was mortified because I'm like, now I'm holding this. And I had to like just hide it on my person.
How do you bring that back to your desk?
It was really bad. And I worked at that place with a friend, and I was really pissed, and I couldn't believe it. And you would think I would have said something or not seen him again. But I looked through the texts and no, I went out with him like 2 more times.
Yeah.
I went out with him easily 2 more times.
Of course. We've all done that.
Yeah, it was bad. It didn't work out. And then eventually the mutual friend who we had at work like yelled at me for never telling her that I had gone out with him. But I was like, oh, don't worry. I was like, it was very unspecial. I wasn't trying to hide from you.
Did you have a crush on him?
No, I honestly think I don't think it was about him. I think it was truly about me. Like, I think she was just like, why didn't you tell me?
Okay. Got it. Because I
can't believe you didn't tell me. And I was like, honestly, it didn't cross my mind. It's not, I forgot about it, honestly.
Right. It was not an important, huge moment in my life.
But at that time, I was really trying to I felt a lot of pressure to go on dates. I think that was a real thing.
100%.
And I was in all the wrong places. So that's how that happened. I do regret it. I don't have it anymore. It was like I couldn't even tell you what it looked like. Like it was as good as garbage. And I know, and then there was a text where he was like, oh, you also left this. And it was like a milk makeup thing. I was like, I'm sloppy and flaky. That's it. Like, wow,
that's all this is.
No, I don't keep track of things. I'm an air sign. I'm a triple air sign. Like it's not, there's no air sign. Yeah, there's no symbolism. I lose my shit a lot. Like,
right. I'm not trying to give you an excuse to see me another time. I just no. That's not what's happening.
That's the thing that men will stick you for. They'll be like, well, she's playing the game, leaving her stuff at my house, and I'm like,
So then, obviously, that didn't become anything, and you didn't end up seeing that person much longer. No.
It also was definitely one of those things. I think they were not. I don't know that they were like happy with me afterward. Like I don't know if we were. I think we maybe were on bad terms for a while, but I didn't know it. Type of thing. Like I would hear something from another person, like, "Oh, they're talking shit about me." I did not realize. Like
he's really bad at being James Bond, honestly. Though, like he's trying to do like fun, like spy things. I'm leaving you clues in a place. I'm like talking about the secret information without you knowing. Like he's not being a good secret agent. That's what I gotta say about this guy.
I think those things are really hard to pull off. And if you can pull them off, like you're a very smooth and cool person and maybe it comes across as really romantic, but I think it's kind of like what happens at people's weddings a lot where like they never do big acts of like grand gestures and romantic things. And so you'll go to a wedding and it'll be these like really awkward like people tying a knot or whatever. And it's like, that's not who you are. It's okay. You don't have to get special and fancy because I'm hating it. So,
right. If you're not a flash mob person, don't force it. Don't try to be a flash mob person.
Don't force it because most of us aren't. And that's fine.
Yeah.
A-okay.
I don't identify as a flash mob person, but I do. When you know a flash mob person, you know a flash mob person.
Yeah, and I think that's great for them. Have I been in a flash mob? Yes. Am I a flash mob person? No, I don't.
You contain multitudes. You can do
it
all.
Been in a flash mob. Okay, 2013 happened for everyone. So we all live.
Andrew, have you been in a flash mob?
No, but yes, that 2013 was the year for flash mobs. That is so true.
Yeah.
I remember watching like flash mob videos and they used to make me like weep. Like I got so emotional as a result of watching these videos. Jenny, are you a flash mob person? Because I feel like
I've watched the videos, but I've never been in a flash mob.
I'm
a grand gesture person, though. I'm definitely a grand gesture, gift giving, big letter writing energy person.
So when like going through like proposal ideas,
that doesn't surprise me about you.
Like flash mob is not.
Flash mob's not on my list. I would like a private proposal leading to a public party.
Yeah. Yes, those are very cute.
That's what I want, actually. Not that that's happening.
That's
For
what
me
it is.
ever. Okay.
Oh my god.
You don't know.
We don't know.
Let's see what text you this week because you just don't know.
That's right. Maybe
It
I'll
could
get
be
proposed
till
to
your
this
next
week.
relationship.
We have no idea. And then you brought another receipt?
I did bring another receipt. So this whole 2016 area of my phone, I have a lot of like short interactions with guys, and some of them are like really brutal. It's like me learning to say, I don't want to go out. I don't want to see you again. And those texts are always really awkward. So I went with a guy that I knew in college, and we both were like in fraternities and sororities.
Okay. Did you go to a Southern school?
What?
Did you go to a Southern school?
No, I went to, but I went to school in New Jersey, and I remember them telling us like Greek life is only big in the South, and for some reason in New Jersey. It actually makes sense, but to me, like, it made sense.
Okay. That's very silly.
And I was really bored.
Love Jersey. Andrew and I are Jersey girls.
Not fraternity, but yeah.
The rules are different in Jersey. It's like its own country.
It is.
Entirely.
It's entirely its own place.
It's
okay, but I had to ask because I'm always very interested when someone was in a fraternity or a sorority. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And I was very like, because I transferred to that school from an art school, and I was very like, I was a little strange, and you can imagine. And it was a very straightforward sorority. Like, I look back and I'm like, oh, that's so interesting that I ended up there. I was definitely trying something new. So this was not a guy that I normally would have been in the same circle with or like chosen for myself. I don't know how maybe I was on a dating app or something and I saw him and we swiped, but we had both been living in New York for a while. Like, it was like we kind of had shared memories, but also we're kind of meeting for the first time. And we went out like once. And he was really, really nice and really, really so dreamy, so cute, but definitely was like, I don't know. And I mean this not as an insult. He was like the version of like a basic girl. Like, I just feel like at some point I was going to get like scared. You know, like,
say that again. Sorry, Taylor, you cut off. At some point you were going to get
frozen. Oh no. Am I still frozen?
No, you're okay.
No,
but
good.
You're good. But you just said at some point I thought I was going to get.
Oh, at some point I thought he was going to be like, oh, you're weird or scary. And he would be right. Like, I don't think we were a match at all past hanging out one time. Like, just wasn't. So I kind of thought after that one time I wasn't going to hear from him again. And I did, which I thought was bold and kind of funny, because I was like, what about our hanker for me? Like, I said, what should I say? And I'll pick the whatever response that you guys choose, and I'll send it to him in an effort to kind of, to be honest, to scare him off. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. I'm saying it's what I decided to do. Okay. And so I was going to choose the worst response and send the worst response. So he said, how's it going? And my friend submitted it. Oh, sorry, what?
No, just that. So this guy that you went on one date with where you guys didn't really connect, he reaches out again. Mm-hmm. You're like, what the fuck? And then the thought, this nice guy, you're just like, let's give him a show.
So, but also it's going to be like I assumed he'd be like, oh, and ignore me. So I asked my friends, I picked the worst response. And so how's it going? And I said, I haven't been the same since 9/11. And he said, how's it going? I said, I haven't been the same since 9/11. And he said, we're all struggling. Come over and mourn with me. LOL.
No.
Which is pretty good. I was like, okay. Oh, pretty good. Should I go?
I mean,
should I like go hang with him?
I guess he got that you were being cheeky and it was a joke, but also the first time ever in my life that a 9/11 has been using in a flirty text successfully.
I mean, to your knowledge, yeah. I think he just didn't care. I think he was like, whatever, I'll say whatever she wants. And I also respect that. I also appreciate being humored.
He seems more fun and cooler than I thought.
He is. And also he's just like nice. And I think that even though I do feel that I'm in the right relationship, I do kind of miss like when I would have relationships with men, they definitely never overthought anything I said or did. Like I could disappear for 2 weeks and they would not check in. I could pop back up. And they would be like, oh, hey, like not be mad. Nothing would happen.
Are we sure they're not goldfish and they just don't realize? They just don't know what happens every day. And then the next day, yeah, you know. Are we sure that's not what's happening?
They don't. They're just like, oh, I was like hanging with my boys, whatever they do. I was DJing. I don't know, like whatever.
That's what they're all doing. I was just DJing.
I will say, I do support men in the arts. Mm-hmm. However, I do not want to date a DJ, and that I know a lot of women say that, but I actually have dated someone who made like EDM music and I hated listening to it. So I just don't want to do that. And this guy was like, oh, I really want to be a DJ. And I was like, that's kind of where I was like, there's no future.
Yeah, we're done. We can't.
And he also made me listen. Yeah, he made me listen to the music while I was at his apartment. And I was like, I can't.
Yeah, no.
It's not about you're probably talented. It's not that. I just can't be this for you.
Yeah. I'm just not the right woman for you. It's just not going to work.
Some girls will be so excited to listen to this with the light show. She's going to love it.
There are women out there who love the sound of an ounce.
They love ounce. And to know you're the one making that and bring that into their lives, they'll love that.
Oh my God. They're just ready for that beat to drop.
I'm not good enough for you. Because I don't get it.
Right. I don't understand, and that's my fault.
It is my fault. He is probably like a very sweet guy who, I don't know. He did make me listen to his music, so yeah, I'm really split on it. I also want to say, we decided to text him the one thing that I thought might. I texted him the one thing I thought might make him never text me again, which was when. Said, come over and mourn with me. I said, I was just near your apartment, actually. And he never texted me again.
Yeah.
I was just there, just like seeing if you were out there and just like seeing if you were around.
I was just outside your window peering in. So
I thought you would have been home, but I couldn't tell because usually you're not home at that time. So, but I'm glad you are. Meanwhile, I had like no idea where his apartment was because I had lived in New York for how many years, and I'm like, relax, it's hard.
Wow, you had way too much fun with this poor man. I love this poor DJ, aspiring DJ, not even a real one. Poor aspiring DJ.
He's fine, even if he never makes it as a DJ. And maybe I will eat my words. He's a handsome young guy. Living in New York City, he's fine. He's gonna date one of the boots and hats girls, and they're gonna be so happy. And I would have just gotten in the way of that, and I would have delayed that from happening.
So it's your gift that you're giving him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got to hang out with me, and I got to hang out with him, and we got to see like a different side of life that wasn't for us. And I think that can be really cultural. Mm-hmm. And
that's
good. Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful.
So
wow.
Yeah.
I truly did get very sad for 1 second though when you said, oh, he's just a young man in New York City, he's gonna be fine and date other women. I was like, no.
I mean, unfortunately, that is part of the worst part of being tempted by a man is, but also they can be sad too. Like
I don't know.
They can. They're all different. And I've been with some real sensitive boys who I assumed would follow that pattern and did not, because they also have like lost a real catch.
Yeah.
So, and that's hard.
Yeah.
I think everyone feels bad when they feel like, oh, I felt really good about myself in this relationship, and I felt like I was doing a really good job being with another person, and I stopped feeling like I could do it, and that sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
It's all sad. It's all sad. But anyway, sorry. I'm just like one thing will then make me be like, oh yeah.
I know.
Broken little brain. So
But it's actually super logical and not broken at all. Like it when you were talking about like his family, I felt that so many times of it's also, I think, conducted like my behavior in a relationship and what I'm willing to do is I think about someone's family and I'm like, they're part of this. Like they're part of my decision making and how I choose to treat this person because they've accepted me. And there's a lot to it. It's not just one person.
Yeah, I know. It's a whole community of people who respect you.
And the other person does that too. I ran into my ex-boyfriend while I was with my mom the other day, and she was really excited to see him, and he was really excited to see her, and it was really nice, but it was also kind of bittersweet because, you know, he texted and he was like, tell them it was really nice to see them. I really miss them, because it is weird to like, I don't know, feel love from anybody and then just never see them again. And that's not not necessarily what happens with you and the other person, but there's no reason for me to see my ex-boyfriend's families anymore. There's just no natural way that would happen.
That's it's nice that you ran into each other on the street and it was nice.
Yeah. I would say my family, because they didn't date him, like likes him more than I do. Okay. Which is not the case with all my boyfriends. I have ones where they really didn't like them and would sit me down and try and do like interventions and stuff. So
you're like, stop this, Taylor.
They're like, he's the worst. I can't believe you brought him on a trip. I really have. Yeah. I brought the wrong people on vacations before, and that I feel truly, I will never be able to atone.
Yeah, that's pretty bad for the fam. It's like there's some people that they can hang with the fam, they can do the vacation thing, and there's some people who it's like, we should never see that. We should never see their suitcase.
Never. Also, sometimes you don't realize till the trip, and then you're on it, and you're like, I mean, I made this mistake really one big time where I was on the trip, and I was like, oh no, I have misjudged the situation so bad.
Oh no, it's like, how do I get him on a plane?
It was awful, and we were so far away, and like, it also wasn't like he wasn't an asshole. He just was like not self-aware at all. And so everyone was mad at him, but he had no idea. So he was just like going about his life, like continuing to wreak havoc. And I was just like, we can never come back to Reykjavik ever again.
Oh, no, Iceland's so cool. No,
I think they'll be fine. They're not going to remember me. Like,
wear a wig, Taylor.
Yeah, that's true. I have all those wigs.
Yeah, but borrow my cat suit. Enjoy.
Oh my God, really cool.
This has been really fun and wonderful, and honestly made me feel better. A nice little hour and 10 of not sobbing, so that's been really good.
Yeah. And now you get to go like eat in bed and remember how fun being alone actually is.
I don't know if I'm there yet, but yeah.
You're not. It's not even been a week.
I'm not there. I will probably just be like, oh right, I'm sad. But you know, I will eat in bed though. That part sounds good.
I feel good with my sister through all my breakups, and it is nice.
Yeah.
It is a different level.
Yeah, a new vibe, you know. Just like, oh, I get to get away with this right now. Like So
and
Taylor, everyone who's listening should absolutely follow you.
Oh yeah, please do it. Come find me on Instagram. I'm at Taylor Ortega, so TaylorTega. And I am on Twitter, but recently I temporarily disabled it for mental health reasons. And I miss it sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I need to get this thought out. And then I'm like, do you? Does anyone care? Calm down. And then I'm like, I don't. Because if I tweet it, I'm going to end up on there for a long time.
Yeah, and then you'll just be scrolling. And you'll be like, wow, everyone is so unhappy here.
Everyone's so unhappy. It's so hard. I do kind of miss it. I do want to just like be like, well, but I'm taking a little break and it's been good. It's I'm taking a break to like watch TikToks. So, and that's been so healthy.
You've moved on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, just like quietly watching TikToks. It's a much more relaxed way of life, and I really recommend it.
Beautiful. Andrew, anything you want to say now that we're at the end?
I'm just so proud of you, Jenny, for doing this today. Taylor, you were a fantastic guest, obviously. But I mean, just Jenny, you continue to blow me away, I feel. I don't know why I even doubted you for a second that you'd be able to do this, but you did it.
Thank you. That was very sweet. Thank you, everyone who was listening. I hope we helped you in some way. It definitely helped me. So we will see you next week. You were listening to the Receipts Podcast.